Big breaking news from the NFL. Miami Dolphins have agreed to a 4-year, $212 million deal with quarterback Tua Tagovailoa. That's the latest from our senior NFL insider, Jonathan Jones. That deal will include $167 million in guarantee. Tua, not necessarily a hold-in. He was a hold-in-ish. He showed up to Dolphins training camp a little bit limited in what he was doing there, waiting for this deal to get done. Tua, entering his 5th season with the Dolphins, led the NFL with more than 4,600 passing yards last season, earning his first Pro Bowl selection. As you take a look there at highest paid quarterbacks when it comes to average annual value, Tua now sitting behind the likes of Trevor Lawrence, Joe Burrow, ahead of Jared Goff, Justin Herbert, and Patrick Mahomes. Let's welcome in Pete Prisco to talk about this news. Tua getting the deal he wanted. He finally gets paid. Pete, your initial reaction to this, you were telling me you think it's pretty fair.
I do think it's a fair deal. And again, this is the cost of doing business with an NFL quarterback these days. If you're next in line and you've played well, you're going to get a new contract. And so that's what the Dolphins did. I always said they were damned if they do and damned if they don't. And the reason I say that is he hasn't won a lot of big games yet, and yet he's proven to people he can throw the football and put up big numbers. So what do you do if you don't give him the long-term extension? Go back in looking for a quarterback? So I understand why the Dolphins did it. I also understand it's a fair deal for Tua. And look, he was having a hold in. It wasn't, and once he started doing something today, you knew there was something around the corner it was going to get done. So kudos to him for getting the deal done. Kudos to the Miami Dolphins for extending him.
When we saw that full screen there, 3rd highest paid quarterbacks in terms of AAV, ahead of guys like Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts. But Pete, it seems so much of this, and we'll talk about Jordan Love here in a second, who's still waiting for his deal to get done. It's about timing, it seems like. When these contracts get done, how much these quarterbacks are getting paid. People are going to say, why is Tua getting paid more than Patrick Mahomes? I mean, is that just the timing of all of this?
It is the timing. If you're the next up, you're going to get the big deal. And here's what teams do. They have to look at it from this standpoint. If you don't pay your quarterback and you decide to put that money elsewhere and trying to get a guy who maybe can come in there and be a stopgap kind of guy, you're going to have aberration seasons. If you have this great roster, you're going to have aberration seasons where you might get into the playoffs. But sustainable success comes with the quarterback position, which is why, the Miami Dolphins have to do it, which is why Jordan Love is going to get a big deal. You mentioned him. And also Dak Prescott. I mean, there's another one around the corner looking for a big deal. So if you don't do it, what do? You have to go back into the pool. And quite frankly, this year's quarterback class coming up isn't so great.
Pete, there's a lot of argument when it comes to the AFC East about the team that's going to come out on top, whether it's going to be the Bills, the Jets now with Aaron Rodgers, or the Dolphins. Where are you standing on the Dolphins now with Tua getting this deal done? He's going to feel a lot more comfortable heading into this upcoming season.
Yeah, I still think the Buffalo Bills are the team to beat in that division, in large part because they have the best quarterback in the division. But, people want to shut the window on the Bills. Not so fast. They did a nice job of supplementing their roster. I still think they're the team to beat. I probably think the Jets are number 2 with Rodgers, with a healthy Rodgers, and then the Miami Dolphins. If you look at the quarterback pecking order in that division, it starts with number 1 with Josh Allen, number 2 is Aaron Rodgers, and then number 3 is Tua. And I think it's a distance between the 3 of them. So he's got some work to do to make it up. He can do that this year. He's got to prove he's worth that contract. He has to win big games. It's been a big problem for him.
How much of a distance between them, between Rodgers, Allen, and Tua, although you put Allen first?
Yeah, I think Allen's a clear number 1. Then Rodgers in his heyday would have been right there, maybe ahead of him. But right now he's a distant 2. And then I think Tua is a drop down below Aaron Rodgers. And again, this is all predicated on Aaron Rodgers being healthy and being able to do the things he did when he was in Green Bay. I know people want to say he's a 40-year-old quarterback and he's going to fall off a cliff coming off an injury. I don't buy it. I still think he can play at a high level, and I still think he will play at a high level.
Tua coming out of college, going into the draft. Of course, we saw that gruesome injury that took him out, and all the concussions that took him out as well. How is he stacked up according to your expectations of when he entered the league?
Well, I was one of those guys. I didn't think he would be as good probably as he has been. I still don't think he's an elite quarterback. I think he's a good quarterback. I think, the elite guys are defined by what you do in big games in December and by playoff games. And so far, if you define him, it hasn't been great. It's probably been a D for him. So for that reason, I hesitate to give him the great grade. He's been good, and there's been moments where he's been fantastic. But a lot of that has come early in the season, and he has to be able to show the Dolphins do as well, that they can win down the stretch and on into the postseason.
Pete, the other quarterback that's been waiting for a contract is Jordan Love. It was almost a race sort of to see who was going to get it done first, the Packers or the Dolphins. And earlier today, it seemed like the Packers saying they were closing in on a deal with Jordan Love. What does this mean for him? What sort of contract are we looking at for Jordan Love?
I think it'll be a similar type deal. He's probably not going to go to the top of the list. And remember, a year ago, if you said Jordan Love's going to get a mega contract from the Green Bay Packers, people would have laughed in your face. But look, he went out and he did it. There was a lot of pressure on him to succeed Aaron Rodgers, and he sat and he learned, and he was a guy that had confidence in his own abilities, and I think you saw that last year. So from that standpoint, he went out, he did the job, and now the Packers are going to reward him. I think it'll be a similar deal to what the Dolphins gave to Tua.
Pete Prisco, we appreciated the breaking news here. Tua finally getting paid from the Miami Dolphins. We have much more to come on this as to take a look at some of the Dolphins contracts that have gotten done. Not just Tua Tagovailoa, of course, that going down today. A 4-year, $212 million extension, $167 of that guaranteed. Also, Jalen Waddle getting paid, one of Tua's top targets there. 3 years, almost $85 million extension for